Welcome to News You Missed.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Well, guess what? There's been some crazy stuff going on out there. We've got terrorist attacks. We've got terrorist attacks being foiled. We've got human traffic charges being dismissed. We've got all sorts of weird, strange, and fun news coming for you. I'm going to dive straight in with my first story. There are dramatic reports out of Moscow last night. Former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, who fled to Russia after being deposed last year, is said to have survived an assassination attempt. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights claims Assad was hospitalized after being poisoned. Though his condition is now stable, only his brother was allowed to visit under heavy security. Russia has yet to comment, and no independent evidence has confirmed the poisoning. Assad has largely remained out of sight since being granted asylum by President Putin.
And my first story of the day is: on Yom Kippur, a stabbing and car ramming outside a Manchester synagogue killed 2 men and wounded several others. The attacker, 35-year-old Jihad al-Shami, was fatally shot by police. SAS helicopters circled overhead, bomb squad stormed the building, and police detained multiple suspects. Police call it a terrorist attack, but online footage of calm bystanders and bomb squads shouting "bomb" has fueled skepticism and conspiracy claims. Still, Jewish communities across the UK are on high alert, and Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned the heinous act as anti-Semitic terrorism.
Well, it's quite a scary time there, Drew, because I've seen that video. I don't know if you have as well, but it did look like he was wearing some sort of, dare I say it, suicide vest. I think the police later confirmed it wasn't a viable vest, but, you know, there could have been a lot of damage done there, so I do tip my hat to the police officers that took him down swiftly before anything worse could happen. My next story: Russian authorities say they foiled multiple mass murder plots across the country. The FSB reports 5 adults and 3 minors were detained in connection with planned attacks in Donetsk, Mariupol, Krasnoyarsk, Orel, and Chelyabinsk. Explosives, weapons, and propaganda linked to Ukrainian terrorist structures were seized. Officials also shut down nearly 60 Telegram channels spreading extremist content. Criminal cases have been opened and preventative measures taken against hundreds more. The FSB says their arrests are part of an ongoing effort to stop online recruitment and violent plots amid the Ukraine conflict.
Next up, the US government is shut down, entering its 3rd day. Economic reports are delayed. Partisan brawls rage in Congress. Elon Musk criticised House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries while the Senate debates healthcare, border security and flood insurance. Shutdowns are now a routine, but the damage is real. Each one erodes faith in Washington and shakes global markets.
Well, Drew, my next one: Belgium is pushing back against an EU plan to use frozen Russian assets to fund loans for Ukraine. Prime Minister Bart de Wever says Brussels won't agree unless all EU states sign guarantees sharing responsibility if the move sparks lawsuits. Around 200 billion euros of Russian funds are held at Belgium's Euroclear, part of 300 billion euros frozen since 2022. De Wever warned the bloc could face decades of litigation, while Luxembourg also raised legal concerns. Meanwhile, Russia has denounced the plan as theft and threatened prosecution of those involved. Well, Drew, it was only a matter of time before the EU bloc couldn't keep their greedy hands off of that frozen Russian money. It started off with stealing the interest. Now they're trying to steal the principal. They are going to be in hot water with Russia. You can see it coming.
So following on from that, Paul, the EU advanced new sanctions on Russia targeting over 560 shadow fleet vessels. Brussels also announced steel import tariffs rising to 50%. Europe is doubling down on sanctions. Moscow's response could be severe, ranging from energy disruptions to hybrid warfare.
And my next story: The human trafficking case against Andrew and Tristan Tate has been sent back to prosecutors in Romania for further review. The Bucharest Court of Appeals ruled the case cannot proceed to trial in its current form, citing irregularities in the indictment and removing some evidence. The brothers, accused of trafficking and sexually exploiting women, strongly deny the charges. This marks another setback for prosecutors who continue to investigate, including new allegations of trafficking minors and money laundering. The Tates also face UK legal action over alleged tax evasion.
Next up, President Trump formally declared cartel groups as terrorists, authorizing military strikes across Mexico, Venezuela, and the Caribbean. Analysts believe US forces may be preparing to seize Venezuelan ports and airfields. This transforms the war on drugs into an international military campaign. The risk, mission creep into Latin America with open-ended US involvement.
Well, my next one, going over to Australia. The sunscreen scandal in Australia is escalating, with 18 products now pulled from shelves over safety concerns. Tests showed some popular sunscreens, including Ultraviolet's Lean Screen, offered far less protection than advertised, SPF 4 instead of SPF 50. Regulators have raised serious questions about a US lab that tested these products, and manufacturers using the same base formula have halted production. With Australia facing the world's highest rates of skin cancer, the Therapeutic Goods Administration is reviewing SPF testing standards and warning consumers to be cautious while investigations continue.
Next up, Trump proposed tariff rebate checks for $1,000 to $2,000 for citizens and a $10 billion bailout for US farmers. Short-term politics wins, long-term debt worries. These moves reinforce inflation fears and push investors towards gold, silver, and Bitcoin.
I'll tell you what, Drew, I do like a bit of gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I'm not going to lie to you. Well, Israel has intercepted the global Samud flotilla en route to Gaza, sparking worldwide protests in cities including Istanbul, Rome, Buenos Aires, and Berlin. At least 44 countries were represented on the 500-person flotilla. Governments from Turkey, Malaysia, South Africa, Colombia, and others have condemned the raid, calling for the immediate release of their citizens. International bodies and unions are demanding Israel respect international law and allow humanitarian aid through, as concerns grow for safety of activists and aid workers on board.
And moving on, FBI Director Kash Patel fired a trainee agent for displaying a pride flag on his desk. Symbolic but polarizing. This decision amplifies cultural battles inside federal institutions.
Well, Drew, we've been hearing a lot about storms at the moment, and Greece is bracing for a monster 48-hour storm, just days after Spain and Sicily were battered by floods. Streets have turned into rivers, cars swept away, and families trapped in their homes. Schools on islands like Rhodes and Zakynthos have been forced to close as emergency crews race to respond. Forecasters warn the storm will bring hail, gale force winds, flash flooding, and even snow in the mountains, with more heavy rain expected. Locals and tourists alike are preparing for another round of extreme weather across the Mediterranean.
And moving on, a Marine veteran attacked a church in Grand Blanc, Michigan, killing 4 and injuring 8. Another mass shooting shakes America. Calls for stronger veteran support and gun control laws will intensify.
And my final story of the day. Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused France of piracy after Paris detained an oil tanker it claims is part of Moscow's so-called shadow fleet. The vessel, sailing under a benign flag, was seized off the French coast last week, with its captain and first mate taken into custody. French officials allege serious irregularities, while Moscow insists the ship had no military cargo and questions whether it was even linked to Russia. The EU says such clandestine tankers are used to bypass sanctions, but Putin argues the move is politically motivated.
Now, moving over to the financial space, Commentators claim the dollar has lost 45% in a year, while exaggerated the narrative reflects investor anxiety as gold and Bitcoin soar. Perception can move markets. Belief in dollar weakens is fueling demand for alternative stores of value. Moving to Japan, yields spiked to 2008 levels. 2-year at 0.95%, 10-year at 1.64%. The latest auction saw the weakest demand since 2009. The Bank of Japan may rise its rates and systematic shifts after decades of ultra-loose policy. Global markets will feel the impact. Moving to gold and silver, gold trades at $3,908. Silver is at $47, but RSI indicators warn a possible correction, declared both metals legal tender. Gold remains a safe haven. Silver looks speculative. Political acceptance of metals as currency is a symbolic shift. Next up, Nvidia stocks hit $190, making it the first company worth $4.6 trillion. Netflix, meanwhile, lost $15 billion as subscribers cancelled over woke content. AI is minting new market leaders, but cultural controversies can sink entertainment giants overnight. Now, over to my favourite crypto. Bitcoin holds above $119,000, with Citibank predicting $181,000 and JP Morgan $165,000. XRP and XLM are climbing. BlackRock's Bitcoin Trust surged into the top 20 ETFs. Thailand expanded ETFs beyond Bitcoin to Ethereum and Ripple. Nasdaq listed shares are being tokenized on Ethereum, and Avalanche is pursuing a $675 million back deal. Crypto is rapidly institutionalizing. October could be a breakout month, but volatility and regulation remain looming risks. If you want to know the latest hacks, scams and cybersecurity, come on over to my Patreon for free.
Well, everybody, that brings us to the end of the news. On Friday, the 3rd of October 2025, we are blitzing through October. It is not failing to show us what is going on out there in the world. And for all those out there who want to understand what's going on beneath the surface, this stuff we are not allowed to tell you out on the mainstream media, because quite frankly, we'll get taken down. Head over to charlieward.com, sign up for the Insiders Club. You can join us live every Wednesday and Saturday, where you get to ask the questions that are burning inside you about what's really going on out there. So all that's left for me to say is to take care, God bless, and see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye bye.